Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from an upcoming production with TKM Theatrical at the Amana Performing Arts Center, Sedona Helmke and Rip Russell. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Dennis.
Yeah, it's really nice to have you here. Rip, you and I have done some stuff together in the past, but I don't think we've been together post-pandemic. So
no, it's the first time.
So how was your pandemic?
It was fine. It was quiet. It's been indoors a lot.
We were talking just before we rolled tape on the interview that I'm kind of a Neil Simon freak. And I don't know that I'm familiar with I Oughta Be In Pictures.
It's an older work, 1980 or so. I'd done a couple of Neil Simon plays in my life, and I'd heard of this title, but I'd never seen it produced. And reading it, it's really funny. It's traditional Neil Simon. You've got every other line is a laugh line. So we're really anxious to see what the audience is going to do Friday night, because we need to be prepared for the laughs. But it has a lot of universal themes, like many of his works, that will hold true today and will hold true 40 years from now. So it's a lesser known work, but it's pretty potent, I think.
Sedona, can you give me the synopsis of the play?
Yeah. So basically, Libby, his daughter,
That's you.
Yes, that's me. I was abandoned by my dad at the age of 3 years old. And then 16 years later, I decided to go find him and show up on his doorstep with no warning. So it's definitely, there's emotional parts, there's funny parts, just a mix of everything.
Your character is film writer, film producer?
My character, Herb, is a aspiring, well, not really aspiring, but because he's been established for some time, a film writer or a screenwriter, writing scripts for films. With some moderate success, that's kind of like his go-to lifestyle would be just does enough to kind of get by. And so I'm there writing scripts, and lo and behold, I have a kind of a semi-live-in girlfriend, and Libby, the daughter, shows up unannounced after 16 years.
And you said the play was written in 1980. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing, Sedona, there may be some references in this play that you might not be familiar with.
Oh, absolutely. There's a million. Every time my character makes a lot of references, and I'll just be saying it, and they're like, do you know who that is? And I'm like, I have no idea.
So we've given her a lot of homework over the course of rehearsal. It's like, go home and look that person up, just so you have an idea when you mention them. And she has, of course, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Rip, you've been a part of the theater scene around the Eastern Iowa area pretty much since God was a teenager.
Yes, it seems like it now, yeah. Uh-huh.
Sedona, I understand that you came to the attention of Tom Milligan and Deb Kennedy, who are the principals behind TKM Productions, because they also direct a lot of shows at Clear Creek, Amana, where you graduated from a couple of years ago.
That's correct. Yeah, we worked together a lot in high school, and then after I graduated last year, actually, we did this Christmas play together. And so that was the start of out of school productions. And then this year they reached back out to me and they're like, hey, we're doing the show and we think you'd be really good in this. And this is actually going to be my first paid production. So that's
nice.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about working. It's a lot different working a theater production in high school and then working in this environment, even though you have known Tom and Deb and stuff very well. Tell me a little bit about how the atmosphere is different.
I think it's definitely really cool to see actors that have been in the business for a long time and working with them and being able to learn from them as well. And also, this is the biggest role I've ever had, so that's been really fun to explore and be able to put myself out there more.
Rip, you've mentioned that you've done Neil Simon before. Mm-hmm. There's kind of a rhythm to a Neil Simon play.
There is. If you've seen a movie or if you've seen a play, it follows a pattern. It all has to do, I think, deep down with comedic timing. They're like fast one-liners that both of us have, and Dana, the other character in the play. Well, Dana's the actress, but the other character is Steffi. But I think with Neil Simon, and it's also I think it also mirrors the era that he wrote, where you had that real fast-paced dialogue. So yeah, it's a quick play. It probably is a little under 2 hours with the intermission, but it goes quickly because that patter is just sort of back and forth,
Yeah, though it's always fast-paced and always very fun. But you're right, there's always an underlying dramatic story that is told.
Yeah, and this has a very nice story with reconnections, and what we've on both of our parts what we felt we've missed out on and who's to blame for the fact that we've been estranged, for so long. There's a lot of subtext there, and I got to tell you, Sedona has been just really killing this role.
Oh,
So
thank
she
you.
really has. That's one of the great things about theater is being in a play and meeting new people and establishing those connections and those relationships. And we're just having a great time. It's predominantly the two of our characters that are on stage the most. And we've developed a nice rapport. And like I say, Sedona she's knocking it out of the park.
Oh, thank you.
We don't want to spoil things too much, but do you have a favorite moment or a favorite scene that jumps out that you're really especially excited to put out in front of the audience?
I will say my character does end up yelling a lot, which I don't do normally in my life a lot. So it's really fun to get that variety and get that opportunity to just throw myself out there.
Rip?
Well, I think that there's so many great moments in the play, but there's one moment, without giving too much away, where she really breaks down and lets me know how the fact that we've been estranged for 16 years, and I abandoned the family, essentially, how that really affected her. And we have a nice moment, and we both are able to say things that we hadn't been able to say before. We hadn't had the opportunity. And it's a very beautiful moment. It comes in the second act, and I just won't say anything more, but it's rewarding.
Neil Simons, I Oughta Be In Pictures, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Amana Performing Arts Center, Friday and Saturday evenings, and then the Sunday matinee, yes?
Sunday matinee
Correct.
at 3.
Easiest way to get tickets in advance is probably to go to TKM Theatrical Productions on Facebook, if memory serves.
Correct.
Perfect. Yep, that's
So
the perfect way to do it. And there's also, if I can, there's a phone number that I can give you if anybody wants
Please do.
to call,
Yeah.
and that would be 319-899-3799. So either give that phone a ring or TKM Theatrical Productions on Facebook.
And if you're watching the video, that phone number has magically appeared beneath our talking heads.
Voila!
Well, it just sounds like a blast. It's always, for me, the idea of a work I'm not familiar with by somebody who I've loved for so long.
Yeah.
That's like an undiscovered treasure. So
Yeah.
It's a little gem out in the middle of Amana.
sounds like a blast. Amana Performing Arts Center this weekend. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks for having us.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.